Gen.G is a global esports organization that was deeply involved in professional Overwatch for years as the academy team of the Overwatch League's Seoul Dynasty before disbanding in 2022. In 2025, however, the organization announced its return to professional Overwatch as a partnered team competing in the Europe, Middle East, and Africa region of the Overwatch Champions Series. After disappointing finishes in both Stage 1 and Stage 2, Gen.G has decided to make major roster changes in hopes of achieving the level of success expected from an organization with such a long history of competition. Welcome to Tank Talk, where today we'll be breaking down Gen.G's new roster, examining their strengths and weaknesses, and discussing whether these changes will finally deliver the results this team has been chasing. Gen.G has chosen not to use any of its import slots, instead fielding an all-European roster. The lineup now includes Tread on tank, Xzodyal and Backbone on DPS, and Skyripa, Khenail, and Crispy on support. Tread has long been a staple of the European Overwatch scene, but he has yet to achieve notable success at the Tier 1 level. While flexible, he is primarily an off-tank player, and questions remain about whether his hero pool is deep enough to handle the demands of a solo tank role. Gen.G's DPS line presents a mix of potential and uncertainty. Xzodyal has shown exceptional mechanics on hitscan throughout his career, even earning the EMEA Stage 2 Superstar Award in Season 1 of the OWCS. Despite his talent, however, he has struggled to turn those mechanics into consistent results, leaving it unclear whether this new environment will allow him to finally reach his ceiling. Backbone, meanwhile, is a veteran known as somewhat of a silly hero specialist. He is among the best in the world on niche picks like Symmetra and Mei, but his performance on more traditional heroes tends to be average at best. In metas that favor their comfort picks, Gen.G's DPS duo could be a serious threat to even the strongest opponents, but if the meta shifts away, it could spell trouble for the team's success. The support line looks to be Gen.G's most reliable strength. Khenail has proven himself as one of the region's most consistent flex supports, providing stability to the backline. The addition of Skyripa prepares the team for possible double flex metas, while Crispy rounds out the main support role. However, both Skyripa and Crispy have bounced between numerous teams in recent years and have struggled to stand out, leaving concerns about their overall impact. Still, the flexibility and depth across Gen.G's support line gives it more options than any other role on the team. While the team has several clear weaknesses, the roster limit of 3 additions per stage leaves no room to address them further. Head coach Krusty, despite a legendary career leading multiple super teams to global success, was frequently criticized during the first 2 stages for failing to maximize his players' potential, often forcing compositions involving D.Va and Symmetra, despite these being weak points for his roster. The new lineup may perform better on that specific composition, but it's likely to be weaker in all other scenarios. It remains to be seen whether Krusty can adapt and utilize his players effectively, or if these same issues will continue to hinder the team. Unfortunately, these signings do not inspire much confidence in Gen.G's future in professional Overwatch. They have been the weakest performing partnered team throughout all of Season 2 of the OWCS and are one of only 2 partnered teams to never compete internationally. By dropping their import players and bringing in replacements who, while serviceable, represent overall downgrades, Gen.G appears to be signaling a likely exit from the scene at the end of the stage. These moves suggest the organization's priority is now cost-cutting, fielding a cheaper roster simply to finish out the season rather than building towards long-term success. The new roster of Gen.G is a gamble. The most stable element is the support line, where Khenail's consistency as a flex support provides a strong foundation. Skyripa adds flexibility for certain metas, while Crispy offers a dependable, if unspectacular, option on main support. Still, neither Skyripa nor Crispy have a track record of excelling at the highest level, leaving this group reliable but unlikely to carry. Elsewhere, it seems the risks outweigh the certainties. Tread, the new tank, is an experienced player, but largely an off-tank specialist in a role that now demands versatility. If the meta aligns with his strengths, he could be serviceable, but otherwise he risks being a liability. The DPS duo is similarly volatile. Xzodyal has the mechanics to succeed, but has struggled to convert talent into consistent results, while Backbone thrives on niche heroes that can make him unpredictable, but also dangerously limited. This means the roster's success will depend heavily on whether the meta favors their comfort picks, an inherently unstable foundation for long-term results. Perhaps the most telling factor is not the players, but the context. Despite having a legendary coach in Krusty, Gen.G has consistently underperformed, and the current roster does little to suggest a dramatic turnaround. With roster limits preventing further signings, and the team still among the weakest partnered organizations in the league, their competitive ceiling looks low. Combined with a shift towards cheaper, less proven talent, this signals a team more interested in surviving the series than seriously contending. For fans, the key question is not whether this roster will challenge for international appearances, it almost certainly won't, but whether Gen.G is preparing to exit the scene altogether. The new lineup may provide occasional upsets if the meta breaks their way, but overall, it reflects a cost-cutting strategy rather than a blueprint for growth. These roster moves have been controversial since their announcement, and debate over their pros and cons will likely continue until we see the team in action. What are your thoughts on these changes, and where do you see the future of the organization heading? Share your opinions in the comments below. This was Tank Talk, and thank you for watching.